this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeed.com, with today's waxing lesson. First, we're going to start with Meguiar's Gold Class Car Wash. It doesn't really matter which car wash you use, but I used to always use Palmolive to wash the car until I read up on how to run some good car polish, use some good car polish, and I found out that the best way to get all the wax off is with Palmolive. So if you want to preserve your wax job, you want to buy a car wash. I like Meguiar's. A lot of good suds, doesn't smell weird like that ice stuff that you bought before. Anyway, we're going to start out with just washing the car. It was kind of dirty. I took some early photographs beforehand, but you need to know that this car doesn't feel good. It looks good, but it doesn't feel good. It feels kind of bumpy. Not real happy with that, but we're going to fix it. And of course, you never want to do any kind of washing or waxing without your iPod listening to podcasts, preferably the NosillaCast podcast. Okay, next in our process, we're going to work on claying the car. Now the purpose of this is to get the little bitty geeky gunky things off of the surface of the car that you don't actually get when you wax. You don't actually get it off when you wax, I should say. So I recommend California Gold Clay Bar System from Mother's. Now I do not recommend their wax. I can't stand their wax. It leaves little white stuff all over the place that weeks later you still have more left. So we're going to open up the clay. What you get in here is you get a bottle of spray, and that's the clay stuck to it right there. So this one's been used for a while, but that's just fine. So what we've got is a little spray. Let me show you what we're going to do. Now I wish you could hear how crunchy this feels. But all we're going to do is spray some of this on and rub it with the clay. And what I can feel is that it starts out feeling kind of crunchy, going, but then after a little while, it stops being crunchy, and you see the little black stuff there? Take a towel, rub that off, and it doesn't look great right afterwards. You got to do a little bit more work, but now this feels like glass compared to here. Steve, why don't you reach forward and touch that? What do you think?
Smooth as glass.
And what's it feel like over here?
Rough and crunchy.
It's horrible.
And
it's
hot.
Horrible and hot. That is the nice thing. You can do this in the sun because this isn't going to be our final step. All right, we'll be coming back when I get to the waxing stage. So, I've only been working on this for, I've only been working on this for about, 10 minutes. So all I did was I clayed the hood of the car, and that's actually going to be part of my lesson here. If you sit down and say, okay, this weekend I'm going to wash the car, I'm going to clay the car, I'm going to wax the car, I'm going to tire black the car, I'm going to wash the inside of the windows, and I'm going to vacuum the car, you might do that once in your lifetime, but you are never going to do it again because that was way too much work. So one of the tricks I've learned is just do it a little bit at a time. Wash your car once a week, or as often as you can stand it, and then clay and wax maybe the hood. Maybe next time you're going to do the roof of the car, and then finally you do the trunk. Then work on the sides once in a while. Don't even have to do those as often because they don't get as much gunk on them. So you can see it's all smeary looking. I've done my little clay. The whole thing feels wonderful. So what I'm going to do next is let's talk about a couple of different kinds of wax. I like Meguiar's. I don't know if it really matters. I got hooked on it. But if your car is real faded and you really want to work on it hard, you might want to try the cleaner wax. This is Lindsay's car, and I wax it to within an inch of its life all the time. So this time, I'm going to use the Carnuba Wax. It's just a wax. It's not got a cleaner in it because she doesn't need that. So I use a microfiber cloth to put it on, and I also use a microfiber cloth to take it off. I don't know if that's really crucial, but I started noticing little scratches when I used a regular cloth. So even though I wiped it down with this, I'm going to work with this. So you're not supposed to do it out in the sun, but you know what? If you make all these restrictions on yourself of what you can and can't do, you're never going to be happy and do it right. So I'm just going to start putting wax on here. And you don't want to put too much on because it's too hard to get off. But I just lay it on in a nice, pretty thin amount. Now all I'm doing is really protecting it at this point. I'm not having to scrub very hard at all because I've already clayed it. I'm not worried about trying to get anything off of it. So we're going to let this dry. This will take me maybe 5-10 minutes to put on, 5-10 minutes to put off, take off, and I've hardly spent any time on this car at all, and it's going to look great. All right, we're ready for the final stage. We washed the car, we clayed the car, and we laid on a nice thin layer of Carnuba wax, and all we're going to do is take another one of our nice microfiber cloths from Costco, and this is probably the most rubbing you're going to have to do as you just take this off. It gets kind of smeary is the one problem, but that fades out after a couple of days anyway, so you don't have to be real careful about it. But now, let's take a look at that shine. Did I get the smears off okay there, Steve? How's that look? Look at that. Get a nice reflection of my face in there.
There you go. Much better.
And it feels wonderful. What do you think, Steve? Give it a touch. Air quality control.
Very nice. Uh-oh, I left smudges on
Very
it.
nice. All right, and that's all there is to it. If you just do one piece of it every week, you're going to get the whole car done in a couple of weeks. You're not going to be too tired, and you might do it again. Then if you're really anal, you want to get yourself a spiral notebook where you start recording all of the different cars you've waxed and clayed. I did this car in October, but it's time to start again. Thank you, and stay subscribed.